read a book that I really love, and I'm making this video to tell you about it. Hello book lover, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kay and I talk about clean and Christian fiction books on this channel. Now the thing about the books that I read from all different genres, but I love having a romance thread in pretty much every single book that I read. There are some that I read that don't have romance in it, but I would say 90% of the time I just love, okay? I just read a Christian fantasy romance, romantasy some would say, and it is quite literally the best book that I have read all year. Now, I've never done this kind of video before where I am solely doing a book review on one book, but I loved this book so much that I have to tell you about it. And the other thing is that this is a Christian indie author, and my heart just has like this special soft spot for Christian indie authors because it's already hard enough for indie authors to get their books out there, but this being a Christian book done as well as it is, and the fact that she has less than 50 reviews online just bothers me so badly because this book was so incredible. I've been stewing on it over the past maybe week and a half since I finished it, and I can't hold it in anymore. I have to tell you about it. Now, I will say, if you are super sensitive to desire between like a married couple in a book, this might not be the book for you. I will go into all of the content at the end of this video just so you can decide if this book is right for you or not. For me, as a book reviewer, it is my hope and my goal to help readers find the books that are right for them, that are within their comfort level, that honor God, and all of that kind of stuff. Let's get into Reviving Embers by Paige Reed. This isn't just a 5-star book for me. This isn't just a 6-star book for me. This is like, it got rid of the scale of stars. This is a sun level book for me, okay? I loved it so much. I'm going to just read the back of the book to you really quick because I don't want to give away any spoilers by me trying to explain the plot to you. And then I'm going to tell you what I really loved about it, and then I'm going to go into some content. But my hope is that more people will read this book. And no, I'm not getting paid or anything to make this video. I don't believe in paid reviews. I don't believe in people paying me to spotlight their book or anything. I got this book for my birthday and I just genuinely loved it so much. He vowed to protect his people no matter the cost. But what if the cost is her? 12 years ago, the shields of power saved Paul Marshall's family from annihilation. Now, a man, he'll stop at nothing to earn a place among the elite council sworn to protect the shield's source of strength. But no one with common blood has been appointed for centuries. To rise, Paul must train with the nobility and secure influential connections in a world that doesn't want him. His chances go from slim to impossible when he attracts formidable enemies and the affections of a woman he can never have. Verity Cilician, noble born and destined to marry the crown prince, struggles to accept the path laid out for her. Emptiness haunts her, forbidden pursuits call, and Paul tugs at every hungry place inside her. But breaking free from the expectations of her family and class could ruin her. Subversive influences sweep Aurelie into a war of ideologies that threatens their past and future. As they fight to preserve their heritage and the attraction between them deepens to love, Paul and Verity must decide if they will obey the ancient warning to stoke the fire within, even if the flame consumes their dreams. I just have chills. Like literally, can you see that? Can you see my erecti pilli contracting? I learned that term in cosmetology school. When you get goosebumps, it's called your erector pilli contracting. Anyway, useless information and very irrelevant. I'm going to link my review in the description box from Goodreads on here so you can have a reminder of all of what this is about. But this book, while yes, there is definitely romance going on in it, I almost want to classify this as fantasy romance, and the romance is kind of second because this book is literally just a war on Christians beliefs and way of life, essentially. So this is a non-magical world, and in this world they have their own unique history, but while they have their own unique history, they also have like Bible scripture and things like that. So some people might not like that this is fantasy intertwined with Bible, but honestly, I am never gonna get mad at fantasy using scripture when it's well done, and it was so well done. Paige Reed's writing is just so beautiful. I want to say like it's lyrical, but it's very understandable. She had so many quotes. I'm so mad I did not annotate this, so I'm going to reread. She had so many quotes in this book that were just so good that I had to reread and reread, not because they didn't make sense, but because they were just like major truth bombs, basically mirroring the world we live in today. So you have two classes in this book. You have the commoners, and you also have the elite nobles. And the commoners have stayed really true to their faith and God, but the noble people are pretty much questioning God, if it's really relevant. They are claiming it's holding them back from progress. You end up getting this intellectual society that is created, and it gives me like secret society vibes, but the society is not secret. Like, people know that this is going on. It's such a good conversation, and it is such a good story to encourage Christians to keep on living for God no matter what the world around them is saying. So in the beginning of this book, you kind of have this academia setting. So I wouldn't say it's dark academia, but in the first part of the book, Paul is training for a position as a commoner to join the noble ranks because he really wants the Christian heritage known. But of course, the noble people aren't wanting to let him in because he's a stupid commoner, so to speak, but he's very smart. So you get this academia setting. There is so much political intrigue in this book. So if you don't like political intrigue, this definitely won't be the book for you. There's a lot in here, and it is so well done. There were parts in this when we're hearing basically from the enemy side, my gut was just churning. It made me feel so sick, but in a good way. Like, it's really showing you how the devil loves to promise people influence, wealth, prosperity, but how that actually leads people astray. In this, you have a forbidden romance because Paul is of the common class and Verity is of the noble class, so they really can't be together. So I almost also got Regency era vibes in a way, though this is definitely not Regency, but because of the difference in classes and what's seen as socially acceptable and not, and you guys know that I love the Regency era, this is not Regency era. But also, because of that division, it also kind of gave me dystopian vibes because like the noble people are all of their own prestigious, like perfect class, and so maybe it's just the prejudice of the classes that made me feel that way, but that was definitely a prominent theme in this book. There is biblical allegory in here, and it's done so well. Like, Paige's writing is hands down my favorite Christian fantasy author that I have read so far. She has a way with words that is just breathtaking. Like, I don't know how else to say it. It's just so beautiful. This is the prequel of her trilogy, The Guardians of Aurelie. I would recommend reading the prequel first. I feel like authors write prequels for a reason, but sometimes prequels can be read after. But this was the perfect setup for what's going to happen in the next book, and I kind of already know what's going on in the kingdom in the next book, and the next book is going to be like years and years and years after this, not like hundreds of years, but you're going to follow a character that was a kid in this book. I definitely recommend reading this book first. Now, I want to go into the content on this because this is where it is going to lose some people. I don't think anything that Paige wrote was unbiblical. I don't think anything she wrote was like gruesome, but I do think some people are going to be sensitive to it. So the content considerations, this is adult fiction. I do not recommend this at all for teenagers. There is physical assault against a woman, but it's not sexual assault, but there are going to be descriptions of blood and things like that. There is, like I said, class-based prejudice in this. There is violence in this. There is persecution, people dying because of their faith, and kind of conspiracies to kill, I would say, even though we don't get like plotted out conspiracies, but you know it's there. And then there is non-graphic marital intimacy. Now, Now, this is where some people are going to be lost. I'm just going to read what I wrote in my review regarding the intimacy content so you can decide if this is good for you or not. So in this paperback edition, pages 397 to 404. So this is what I wrote. This section contains a honeymoon scene between a married couple. There is significant passion, affection, and romantic desire expressed, but I would not classify it as spicy, especially as someone who used to read secular romance with explicit content. This scene remains within the biblical context of marriage and is written in a highly poetical style that reminded me personally of Song of Solomon. If you are comfortable with the level of passion found in some books by Francine Rivers, I believe you'll be fine with the scene in this book. Personally, I found it to be a beautiful portrayal of the intimacy God designed for marriage between a husband and wife. And this book is not lusty. This book is a married couple that love each other and they're passionate. And like I've said on this channel before, newsflash, God created sex, but this is going to be too much for some people. Though it is not graphic, you are not getting body parts described, you're not getting anything like that. And then I also went on to say, however, if you are sensitive to passionate kissing, heavy romantic tension, or expressions of marital desire, you may prefer to skip these pages. Like I said, it's 397 to 404. However, I'll put the chapters that it's more heavy on the screen somewhere. While the honeymoon scene is the most prominent display of intimacy, the married couple continues to express affection, desire, and passion for one another throughout the rest of the story. So all of this isn't until about the 80% mark, so I just want you to know that. It definitely wasn't something that was too much for me or I felt like she went too far, but just to be sure, I actually sent the scene to 4 trusted Christian book reviewers here on YouTube or over on Bookstagram, and I'm not going to give up their names, but I sent it to 4 trusted book reviewers and all agreed that the scene remains appropriate and well written, though they also acknowledge that some readers may be more sensitive to this type of passionate content. One mentioned it reminded her of the passion found in Emma St. Clair or Jenny Proctor books, but I've never read those authors, but I wanted to mention that because another book reviewer said it reminded her of that kind of passion. But as always, please use your own discretion. So I already have gone on way longer than I wanted to in Reviving Embers, and I'm going to end this video with one thing that I said in my review, and that is, more than anything, this book feels like a love letter to Christians, a reminder to burn brightly for God, to be bold in our faith, and to passionately use the gifts He's given us without fear. Stoke the embers and don't let the fire go out. Anyway, I hope you read this book. Let me know in the comment section if you think you are going to check out Reviving Embers by Paige Reed.